Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good morning, everyone. Welcome all respected deans, deputy deans, heads of department, program coordinators, ACALs, and distinguished participants to the IIUM Outcome-Based Education, OBE Framework Familiarization Program. This this event is organized by the Center for Professional Development, CPD, and jointly supported by the Office of Knowledge for Change and Advancement, KCA, and the IIUM Center for Measurement, Evaluation, and Testing, IMET. We truly appreciate your participation this morning, and as we strengthen our shared understanding of IIUM's OBE direction and implementation. Please pay your utmost attention to the entire event today. Okay, Alhamdulillah. To officially open today's session, I invite Prof. Dr. Ahmad Faris Ismail, Deputy Director, Academic and Internationalization, to deliver his opening remarks. Welcome. You have 15 minutes, Dato.
Please remind me when we have 1 more minute left. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillah, thumma alhamdulillah. Wassalatu wassalamu ala ashrafil anbiya wa mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala ali Muhammad. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billahil aliyyil azim. Subhanaka la ilma lana ma 'allamtana innaka antal alimul hakim. Thank you very much, Doctor. And of course my colleagues, Director of CPD, the organizer today, and we have of course our resource person, the other handsome poster just now. Resource person, we have Dr. Irwan, Director of KCA, Dr. Sani, former Dean of Kuliah of Engineering, and so on again. Prof. Teddy, oh, he's not here. Prof. Teddy is not here yet. Okay, and Prof. Teddy, the OBEM's, Prof. Teddy is OBEM's pioneer. I think he started the OBEM's at Kuliah of Engineering. Of course, my colleagues, respected deans, directors, deputy deans, deputy directors. I guess this is, for me, is a very important session as we plan ahead on our curriculum. I would say that this is part of curriculum. One is quality improvement and also quality control. Okay, the first point that I would like to mention is whether, I think all of you are aware, but maybe you do not aware about the heavy responsibility. So Alhamdulillah, with the blessing of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, IIUM is one of the institutions in the country which has the self-accreditation status. Not many in the countries. Even IPTA only 5, 6. And then plus the private institution, another 14. So more or less in the whole country, with 500 higher education, public and private, we are one of the 20 that got this self-accreditation status. But of course, the testers come with a heavy responsibility because they empower us to do self-accreditation, to have our own quality control. So that's why we have our mini MQA. Okay, let me give you an example. If we are not self-accreditation, every curriculum review, every accreditation we need to submit to MQA. And of course, they will come. So just imagine we have berapa total 500 plus programs. Yeah, about 300 programs. Just imagine the 300 programs we have to keep sending to MQA. They will come and so, but with self-accreditation, then we can do most of the accreditation by ourselves, except for, of course, those programs that involve professional body. So those who have professional body, like engineering, medicine, pharmacy, accountancy, maybe architecture and similar professional body, of course, MQA said that they will just follow whatever the professional body recommend. So they still have to, they will come every whatever 4 or 5 years or at the end of the accreditation cycle. So in that context, as a self-accreditation institution, okay, I can share also with you. In the last they call it okay, let me confuse you. In the last re-accreditation exercise of self-accreditation status, so see, after 5 years, I think we got the status 5 years. After 5 years, they say, we want to come and check your mechanism, your self-accreditation mechanism. So they came. So whether you know or not, first time we were given major correction. 1 year observation. We did not get it when they came. So when they came, they audited. They even visited our Kuantan campus. So the status at the end is, no, you cannot continue. So, but you are given a year to do this thing. Okay. So, Alhamdulillah, again, with the blessing of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and hard work of our brothers and sisters, before 1 year, Alhamdulillah, we got back the status. Okay, but I have to share with you. I think this is within colleagues, brothers, sisters. Of course, I am retiring. You, the young one, will take over. So you must know this. When we were given the re-accreditation, we were just like this. We were just like, yeah, we are just like on the dot. So let's say the passing mark is 75. We got 75. Not even 76. So I'm telling you now. So we just got on the dot. 75, 75. And then each category, we must get whatever to. 2 point, we just got. So that's why, brothers and sisters, this session is very, very important. Because they already mentioned to us, the panel and the MQA, next time they come, 2, 3 years after this, hopefully I'm not here anymore. Otherwise, it is my headache. So 2 or 3 years after when they come, they say, no, they do not want to see 76 anymore. You must improve to 80. They want to see the improvement. Okay? So that's why the what you call it, the standard also are changing. The bar also is be raised. So they say when they come back, they want to see more. So that's why this is very, very important. Of course, KCA and especially KCA, because KCA is our mini MQA. KCA is our mini MQA, because those non-self-accreditation institutions, they have to go to MQA. We have to go to KCA. So KCA is our mini MQA. So that's why we are looking at a few aspects or how to maintain this quality. Okay, because for example, like we have to maintain. Okay, I have to share with you because many of you are here or online. Like they are very particular. Like we have to have the curriculum review on time or before time. Okay, and then we have to have maintenance audit. So these are what when they come. Where's your maintenance audit? No, that's it. In fact, I mean, just to share with you, when they came first time, we failed in the maintenance audit. Right? Curriculum review. We failed in the curriculum review because they said that out of whatever 300 or almost 300, a few of them never or did not have any attempt or plan to do curriculum review. So they say that we fail. So that's why I think this curriculum review is very important. Maintenance audit is very important. Your whatever external assessor is very important. Your report, what do you call it? Self-assessment report is very important. Everything is important, must be documented. Because when they come next time, 3-4 years from now, then we must have all that documented. Then I think we'll be smooth sailing. Otherwise, we are going to face trouble. So one of the things is related to what we are doing this morning, which is OBE. Okay. See, the problem with MQA, the way they work is because they treat us like adults. So they empower us. They just whisper, we think that OBE is important, you know. So they say, okay, please go and do, right? But then suddenly, there is a circular. 1st June of 2006, we want to see your OBE. See, they did not give you, say that by 2026, they just whisper, OBE is very important, please do, you know. So we need to get message. We need to get the message that they give us. Okay, so 5 more minutes on ABE. After all the introduction, now on OBE. Whether we realize it or not, the way that we have been submitting or preparing our document is already OBE spirit. Spirit is OBE. So whether the roh is there or not, I'm not sure, but the spirit is OBE. Why I say that? Because in our curriculum review, in our submission, we always ask you, what is your PEO, what is your PLO, what is your CLO, how you map them, you know. So this is already OBE spirit. The spirit is there, okay? But let me tell you my story, how I learned OBE. I learned OBE the hard way. So what happened was, suddenly, Board of Engineers Malaysia would like to sign an agreement with Washington Accord to be a signatory of Washington Accord. So Washington Accord appointed, I think, 3 countries, 3 of their members country, to come and observe how EAC did their job. Luckily or not, I was the guinea pig. So at that time, I was the guinea pig. Myself, IIUM, Monash, and UniMed. I think these are 3 guinea pigs that our accreditation was due, EAC is coming, and the observers are with them. Okay, and I really respect their what you call it, professionalism, this observer. One from UK, one from, I think, Australia, another one, I think two of them, the observer. I really realized they didn't ask me any question. They just observe. What is this? What they are observing the panel. They're not observing what panel are doing, blah, 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 blah. Okay, and then after that, they wrote a very long report. They got this panel are finding fault, not doing the job, blah, 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 schools of things, and we have to change everything, what we are doing. So that's how I learned OBE. Okay, so let me tell you what I learned OBE. So normally, during this accreditation, the first session is briefing by the dean. So I was the poor dean at the time. So with confident, my Kuliah of Engineering is very good. This is my program educational objective. This is my program learning outcome. This is CLO. Say, oh, good, fantastic. Congratulations. You know what next? Next, they go to the department. And then they start to ask, hey, what is your program learning outcome? You know what the head said? I did not know. So now all my telling just now, they say that only these deans, you know. Okay, I think HOD at that time was not that bad, but then they went down. Each lecturer, see, when they meet each lecturer, what is your class learning outcome? How is that connected with program learning outcome? Oh my God, nobody can answer that. Worse, they meet the student. Hi, students. Hi, students. Okay, after you study here for 4 years, what type of engineers you are going to become? What is your attribute? As you know, our student, they just interested to get the degree and get job, right? So at the end, the report came. The dean was so confident. However, everybody else do not understand. So that is how I learned OBE. So I remember that one. I think we got accreditation, but about 2-3 years. Not more than two. Not more than two. They will give us 1 year, 2 years. OBE is not there. OBE is not there. So I think we have to learn. That is how engineering learn. So after several years, from that experience, then alhamdulillah, I think maybe it took us about 10 years to put the house in order. Then alhamdulillah, recently I think we get full 5 years, 6 years, 5 years, 6 years. Otherwise, at the beginning, we get only 2 years, 1 year, 2 years, 1 year. And the main reason, OBE, main reason in the document. OBE is not there in the practice. So there's practice. Us, MQA has decided that they are going to adopt OBE. So right now, documentation is good enough. But I was informed by KCA that next year, OBE tick map to it not good enough. Normally, the first thing that they come, they will look at PLO achievement. So I don't know, you as the custodian of the program, if I go today to your department, whatever program that you are handling, can you tell me what is your PLO achievement for, let's say, this cohort? Can you answer that? See, you must, because you put whatever 12, 10 PLO, right? So PLO number 1, what is your achievement? PLO number 2, what is your achievement? Okay, then they will not step that. Okay, fair enough. You can cook something. This one 90% achieve, 80%, whatever. Then say, how you get that 80%? They will ask, so how they will get 80%? So and then they will go down. They want to see as detailed as possible this. That is the spirit of OBE. So brothers and sisters, I hope that, of course, you are all young, energetic. Really, once first we understand. Second, we put in place the system because there is no shortcut. There is no shortcut. You cannot use ChatGPT for this. Okay, there is no shortcut. Meaning to say that today I think the organizer. But this also must go up to your lecturers later on. Okay, because not only on the first day, which is good practice when I'm teaching a course, contribute to, I have to put the mapping to the student. See if lecturer, okay, and in this mathematics one, at the end of this semester, I'm going to assess you. This I'm going to assess. See, these are very things that you have to really put that cycle in everybody, lecturers and students. So I think that is good enough for warming up. Good enough for warming up. Meaning that this is very important. And alhamdulillah, I think when I had a session with CPD, they are willing to go kuliah by kuliah. Okay, kuliah, yeah? I think that is their commitment, right? They will go, they are willing. So please bother them. Disturb them. They are willing to go kuliah by kuliah kuliah by kuliah, and then maybe after that they have to go lecturer by lecturer. Yeah. Kuliah first, and then maybe lecturer by lecturer. I mean, what do you understand of this? Blah 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 blah. So Alhamdulillah, I think we have to come up with the system, and then we have to come up with the framework. Of course, framework is there. We'll be discussing. Again, has curriculum review. They have to have this PLO achieve this. I don't see that each program putting what is your PLO achievement, okay? What is your strength, weaknesses, and based on that, how are you going to amend and do the quality continuous improvement? So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the strength, give us the hidayah, tawfiq and hidayah, and bless the event insyaAllah. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam. Probably at the end, Datuk. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, Prof. Datuk has reminded us that the OBE is not merely a compliance system, but it's almost like our academic culture. So everybody has to adopt and learn it. So we will have to follow what is given. All right. Now, Prof. Datuk has taken a bit of your time. Dr. Irwan, we now proceed to the next session by Associate Professor Dr. Muhammad Irwan Arifin, Director of KCA. Welcome.
Right. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillahirabbil Professor Dato' Dr. Ahmad Faris Prof D team, Prof Ainul, and Deputy Deans, Heads of Departments, ACALs, and to attend today's event. My role as assistant here is Allah. So this is just basically make somehow this Faris has mentioned. I think this far in the country are running out of time. So the end actually approved, enforced by the Parliament of Malaysia. Been actually time until the 1st August, from 1st August 2026. 1st August 2026. So we are actually already within the transition period to make sure that all the OBEs, principles, rules, practices are so let me just give a brief background about the IIUM appreciation to our University OBE Task Force. Okay, thank you, Prof. Chaired by Dr. Sani. Dr. Sani by Dr. Fiona from Kuala and Dr. Roslyn from Kuala of Allied Health Sciences. So these people, they have actually articulated, discussed, and come up with this framework. And this framework has been endorsed in the Senate in October 2025. So maybe we can move on to the next slide. So my role here is hopefully not to create more fear. So this is just to basically somehow, hopefully I would be able to convince all of us that this should be not just simply for compliance reason, but it should be a culture within all of us as teachers. So I can control it here. Saya nak patah balik ni. Bawah. Alright. Before we start, saya nak patah balik ni. Bawah. Alright. Talking about I would try to basically so it should begin with this understanding that education is basically a sacred trust or amanah, and I would like to highlight what Allah Subhanahu wa Taala mentioned in Al-Quran. Inna Allah ya'murukum an tu'addul amanati ila. This is verse 58, right? So basically, by fulfilling our amanah, this is basically fulfilling the command from Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. So our role as a teacher, as a Wasallam mentioned, each of you is a shepherd and each of you is responsible mas'ulun an ra'iyyah. About mas'uliyah. For them to pursue their higher education. So OBE basically the in a more structured way, right? So legal with this amanah of all teachers, and well, that's help us to clarify, to clarify focus more student learn and whether they really learn and able to do whatever that have been taught. Abilities that the student can demonstrate, that they can show at the end of their program here. Were they able to actually attain all the learning outcomes that we have promised? Right? So this clarity, with this kind of straight or clear purpose, would be able to actually make our teaching to have a clear objective. A clear objective, more purposeful, and then it would help us consistent or a coherent learning experience to our student, right? So at least when the student they are in class, they would not be at loss. At least they know, why am I learning this? Why do I have to know this? Because it really contributes, it map back to the learning outcomes that they are expected to be able to do, that they are able to demonstrate at the end of their program here. Right? So I put there, basically, this is from Surah Ibrahim. Wa ma arsalna min rasul illa bilisani qawmihi liyubayyina lahum. So we have to actually play that role. We have to deliver knowledge in a way that the student will be able to understand why they have to learn this. So to do that, we have to make clear the learning outcomes at the end of the program or at the end of the course. Right? So OBE basically honors this principle of clarity. Clarity that basically would bring focus, fairness, and motivation to both us and the students. Berjalan pula dah. Okay, can you go next slide? Okay. So is OBE something totally new? I think later on my colleagues, Dr. Sani and Prof. Teddy and Prof. Mira would be able to explain that this is not something that is alien to us at IIUM. If you look at the OBE framework, so this is basically not imported blindly from elsewhere. It is totally grounded in our mission and vision as the garden of knowledge and virtue. So basically, this would operationalize the Tawhidic epistemology, where we would be able to integrate knowledge with ethics, with purpose in a more systematic way, right? So this framework actually help us in terms of our planning, in terms of our design, and in terms of our reporting and documentation. It also aligned with our Sejahtera academic framework, where we emphasize on the holistic balance, well-being, and responsible action of all our stakeholders. And our aim is basically not just to produce graduates with skills, but also graduates to serve humanity. Right? So this is totally aligned with MQF 2.0 2024, where value-based education, where education for sustainable development are all incorporated as a holistic item in the framework. So this is basically our mission as a Khalifah. Right? So here Allah perhaps a reminder, this purpose, a purposeful life. وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسِ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. So that's the purpose, why we are here. So then, later on in the OBE, we have to design backward in order to achieve that purpose, that objective of serving Allah. So we have to design our life, all our daily behaviors, our daily activities, and our long-term trajectory, projection, and whatsoever to basically achieve this outcome, to serve Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the same spirit is inherent in OBE, where we work backward. We design our program based on what are the learning outcomes that we intend our students to be able to do with the knowledge that they have learned from us in our program. What are the learning outcomes that they should be able to achieve, that they should be able to demonstrate? So based on those learning outcomes, we simply need to design our program backwards. It should affect what our students do in their daily activities, whatever that they do within the semester, in their first year, all basically must be meaningful because they contribute towards the achievement of the learning outcomes. So this framework basically would be applicable across all levels, UG and PG, coursework, mixed mode, research mode, as well as other non-conventional approaches, ODL, micro-credentials, and everything basically. Who knows what's going to come next year? There will be many new ways, many new avenues of learning, of teaching and learning that may come. So this basically, based on this hierarchy, I hope it clarify the purpose of our OBE framework. Basically, so just now Prof. Faris mentioned about PLO. We haven't talked about PEO, right? The program educational objectives, which basically we should, as teacher, after we have taught our student, I thought that we must be curious to know how are they doing after they have left us, after they have left the garden of knowledge and virtue after 3, 4 years, 5 years. Did they really become successful in their life? Did they really manage to actually become the live version of IIUM? Wherever they go, they would become like the like the I forgot the term in Surah An-Nur. Allah mentioned about the characteristic of the olive oil. Even when there is no fire, the oil is very light enough to enlighten the area. Even though they may not become someone who is a big leader at any national level, but at least they will be someone who would be able to actually enlighten the life of those who are dear to them. I mean, as teachers, aren't we curious to know, so far after 3, 4 years that they have spent their life under our care, in our class, did we really become part of their someone who is meaningful in their journey of life? I mean, I thought that should have been the nature why we choose to become lecturer lah kan. Lecturer dia tak kaya kan. I mean, perhaps many of us, some of us could have received better offer from the industry, but we decided to choose this path. So when we choose this path, which may not necessarily make us rich, but this is where something that money cannot buy, right? Our students, our former students, they still call us, they communicate with us. I mean, this is something that perhaps would be more meaningful to our life, better than money lah. Although money is important, but I think this is something that we should appreciate as that we really look forward to. So this is what PEO is about. It is just that under OBE, this make our curiosity we would be able to make it in a more structured. You know, we have to collect it, we have to document it, and we would be able to show it as a proof of what we have been doing in this university. So this basically would later on, I think my colleagues would explain about this. We decided to follow this madhab. Even under OBE, there are several madhab. So we decided to follow the enabling and culminating approach because we believe this is something that is more meaningful and also more practical and perhaps easier for all of us to actually do the OBE by using this madhab, the enabling and culminating approach. I have few more slides. So this is basically just to buy in to get buy-in from all of you. So just now I've already explained how the OBE is pretty much aligned, doesn't violate any of our Sharia, and then aligned with IIUM philosophy, our vision and mission. And now this is basically how it is fully aligned with the national and global directions of education, right? So like we are all aware of, I hope by now, MQF 2.0 2024, which will basically take place on 1st August 2026. So they emphasize on VBE, the value-based education, and ESD, education for sustainable development. So basically, we would be able to use OBE and document all this in a more structured and systematic way. So this would basically comply with the MQA Act, as well as the Education Act, as well as your professional standards. So here I quote that basically a hadith from Bayhaqi, also narrated by Tabarani and Abu Ya'la, hadith Hasan. Inna Allah yuhibbu idha amila ahadukum ayyutqinah. So basically this OBE framework would basically help us to be able to actually yutqina, itqan, that we would be able, when we teach, we are passionate. I believe many of us here, we are passionate when we teach. But we that passionate should have lead us to actually, when we teach, we do more. So it is not just comparable to our salary, but I believe many of us actually, when we teach more than our paycheck value. So why? Because of this itqan, ihsan. When we do it, because that's why we choose this path. So by using this OBE, it would assist us so that we would be able to actually document this. Document this. Of course, everyone can claim, and we have been doing it. It is just that perhaps we have to just take another extra step by documenting what we have been doing, so that at least we have the evidence to support what we have been doing. Otherwise, it will just become a memory je lah, kan? Like not fairy tale, but sometimes when we meet younger staff, basically, I always enjoy this, but then sometimes we tend to forget. When I joined the university, I heard, how some of my seniors, they were very passionate in their teaching. When they come into the classroom, how the students really appreciate. But unfortunately, many of these are not properly documented. Right? It just become a story, verbal story, right? Generation from generation, from the previous, those in PJ, Lembah Pantai and stuff, now in Gombak. But after the previous generations have left the university, these stories, if they are not documented, then they will be at loss. And then who knows, someone in the future might come and say, even some other people come to learn from us whatsoever lah kan. These are all unjustifiable claim, not properly documented. So this is something that we want to avoid. So that at least whatever that we have been doing with passion, with dedication, are properly documented. And so just to give some kind of this documentation, I hope is not something that would create more fear. So unfortunately, this is what many of us basically tend to associate OBE with forms and templates. But we cannot run away from forms and templates if we want to document what we have been doing. Right? So documentation is simply a part of the process, but the heart of the OBE is not the paperwork. I think we really need to correct this mindset. We are doing this OBE, we are embracing this approach simply to assist us to improve, to enhance our teaching and learning, right? Our passion as lecturers here. So this, basically, we want to push this to become a culture, right? A culture of shared purpose, clarity of priorities, fairness, and continuous improvements. So when we design our program with clear purpose, with clear intention, and when we design our assessment to be meaningful, basically the students would benefit, right? They will not spend unnecessary time learning or taking tests that are not contributing at all towards their learning outcomes. And this also fully align with the Quranic value, وَتَعَاوَنُوا عَلَى الْبِرِّ وَالتَّقْوَى. We have to actually work in a team, us as well as the students, to make this successful. So as a closing, I hope I'm not using too much of the time. So basically, I would like to take again this opportunity to really thank everyone. And like what Prof. Faris mentioned, I think the Prof. Mira and her team at CPD, Prof. Ainul and her team at IMED, as well as my team at KCA. we would be having OBE clinics on demand, because we really, we are a team. Like what Prof. Faris mentioned, we have already encountered some challenges, trouble with regard to our SWA accreditation status last year. And like what Prof. Faris mentioned, our score is just sufficient to pass. And previously, they also have the must pass component, where the aggregate score, you have to score above 70. But then for each component, you cannot score below 3. There was one component which we scored below 3, and that is curriculum review. It is sometimes we think that it's common sense for all teachers to have that curiosity. After 5 years of teaching, aren't we curious to basically know whether what we have been teaching, is it really effective? Should I change the topic? Should I use a new articles, a new textbook and whatsoever? But unfortunately, there are programs that have never done any review. So this is actually a big surprise. I mean, as teachers, I think it should already be inherent in our heart that when we teach, we want to see what our students have become. Whatever that we have been delivering, is it really effective or not? I personally thought that it's a common sense. Every year at least, you do a muhasabah, self-reflection. What we have been doing, is it really meaningful or not? Is there a way that I can improve it and stuff? But unfortunately, it is not common sense to some. So that's why we are pushing for all program owners to actually look at their program and do review when the time is due. It's not simply because of compliance, but because of the culture, the muhasabah culture. Okay. And this is basically a collective responsibility, a shared amanah. So that's why our teams, we are ready to actually assist, and be with you to implement this OBE. So inshallah, we really hope that by 1st August 2026, we would be able to do the OBE at the university-wide level. So that's all from me. Thank you very much for your attention. And I hand it back to Dr. Afiza. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Dr. Irwan. Thank you for the emphasis about culture, because if we just chase processes without really internalizing the culture of OBE, we will always be catching up. The ecosystem that functions like a compass. Without direction, it might lead us astray. So today it's about sharpening that compass, inshallah, after we listen to the rest of our colleagues later. So now it's time for a coffee break or toilet break. We've got 10 minutes, unless you don't want to go, but we will let you have a short break. And at 10:30, we will have the second session. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Don't run away. Please come back. Assalamualaikum and welcome back, everybody. Please take your seats. We now proceed to session 2, components of the IIUM OBE Framework by Associate Professor Dr. Sani Izan Ihsan. Please welcome Dr. Sani whenever you're ready.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin wassalatu wassalamu ala asyrafil anbiya wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wasallim. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wa hlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Thank you Dr. Afiza. Okay. Dr. Irwan, Director of KCA, Prof. Mira, Director CPD, and where is Prof. Ainul? Prof. Ainul dah ke situ. Okay. Okay, and all deans, deputy deans, and all my colleagues. Okay. First of all, thank you. I am given the task to familiarize yourself, right? Okay, familiarize all of you with the IIUM, what we call that, OBE framework, okay, which has been what we call that, endorsed by Senate in October recently. So I think CPD and KCA are aggressively pushing this, okay, to all kuliah. Of course, as mentioned, and because of the duration, because we are bound to implement as soon as possible, and starting from next year August, then all documentation has to look submission, okay, has to be in line with the MQF 2.0, right? Okay, all right. Anyway, my task is to look into basically the document. Okay, I believe all of you have received the document, the IIUM OBE framework, okay, and have gone through it. So hopefully, right? Okay, so we will just go through basically the principle as well as the framework. So that is my task for today then. So the principle will basically just go through. In case you have anything for clarification, then maybe we can explain. All right. So before going into that, then I will just give some overview of OBE. I believe most of you, if not all, okay, are already familiar with OBE. But this one just to maybe just bring some what we call that, highlight few important things that we will which will be important for the when we go through the principle, inshallah. All right. Quickly on this overview. Of course, OBE, outcome-based education, is an approach that focuses on the attainment of intended, predefined learning outcomes at the end of the learning process or activity. So we set by the end. I mean, we look at the outcome first before planning of what need to be done. I think that one is very clear. Education structures, curriculum activities, and curriculum activities and assessment are planned and designed to achieve the intended outcome. So you set the outcome and then you plan accordingly. Okay. And then, as mentioned, I think Prof. Aris mentioned, Dr. Irwan also mentioned about this, PEO, PLO, and CLO. Okay, broad statement describing the career and professional accomplishment. The program prepares graduate to achieve 3 to 5 years after the graduation. That is PEO. PLO is upon graduation. What are the attainment the student what we call that achieve, whether knowledge, ability to do, and etc. Okay, at the time of graduation, that is the keyword there. Okay, it relates the skill, knowledge, and behavior. Also behavior as mentioned by Dr. Irwan. Okay, all right. And of course, the CLO is at the cost level expected upon completion or successfully completed that particular course. Okay, all right, we are okay with this, right? This one is very basic. Okay, good. And these are the core principles of OBE. Clarity of focus, meaning that we are clear of what we want to achieve, that is the outcome, okay, and then we plan activities accordingly. All right, and then design back. Also, I think design back, we are familiar with this. When we design the curriculum, then it is from top down. Okay, you are clear of the purpose of the institution, and then your kuliah, and then that particular program, and then go down to the courses. That is when we design back. That is the meaning of that, design back. High expectation, when you what we call that, we put high expectation on what student can achieve. Okay, and then that one is looking to high order thinking and etc. And expanded opportunities, we allow various ways or approaches to have the student to achieve the outcomes. Okay, not only single ways, but there are some students who may take a longer path and etc. So we allow all these opportunities. All right, and constructive alignment, also very important, aligning the CLOs, the course learning outcome. These are at the course level, assessment method, as well as the learning and teaching approach. So typically we have this triangle, or we triangulate between the three. You are clear of the outcome, what the student is expected to achieve, and then you align with the activities in order to help the student to achieve, and then you assess properly to show that they have already achieved. So the three must be aligned. So that's what we call as constructive alignment. And then, of course, this is the approach that we have decided, already Senate approved, on evaluating student attainment or achievement of the PLO, which is enabling and culminating approach. Okay, some of you, this might be new, so let me just explain a little bit. We categorize courses in which the student are required to take to graduate the program. Okay, so we categorize into enabling and culminating. So enabling are courses in the curriculum that will help develop, nurture, prepare, and enable the student towards achieving the specified outcomes of the program. So these are basically usually the earlier part. Okay, in which you help the student, you know, this particular, well, we do mapping. So this particular course will map to a certain PLO. So we help the student in achieving that PLO, not yet achieve, but helping the student to develop themselves towards that PLO. Okay, while the culminating, well, you mentioned that may be used as a progress indicator towards the achieving the PLO. So you can also assess, you see where they are at that point. Okay, in which maybe you can, the following courses maybe can emphasize something that may be missing or something once you see whether there is a lacking part. While the culminating is where the PLO is demonstrated. So this is where you evaluate to see whether the student have already achieved that particular PLO. So that is the culminating. At the end, basically, usually it is at the end, towards the end. Some courses may be in the third year, if it is undergraduate, that already some of the PLO you can already assess. But most of them most of the PLO should be assessed towards the graduation year, or the final semester, or the last 2 semesters, basically. Okay. So this is the idea of enabling and culminating. What happened? Tak bergerak dah. Alright. Tak nampak baby tu. Alright. Okay. So this one is, I think, commonly we use to illustrate, okay, the concept of enabling and culminating. Let's say that for this particular learning, then at the end, then the outcome is to be able to get up and stand, basically. Okay. So student coming from CFS, maybe just very raw, then they are not able to do anything, just lay down. And then year 1, year 2, all this level is helping them to achieve towards achieving the final PLO. I think this is maybe clear, Boleh? Okay. Of course, one PLO. So there are many other PLOs. So you have to find what other courses that help help the student in achieving the PLO. All right. Okay, and CQI, continuous quality improvement. Usually I use continual, but it's okay since the document already used continuous. Okay, no argument. No need to argue on that. All right. Continuous quality improvement is integral in operation of a higher education provider. Okay, that demonstrate quality, integrity, and accountability in the system and academic program. This is actually taken from MQA document. An academic program on what we call that of course CQI, if I'm not mistaken, call that diagram is to show we have a fast loop. Usually when we talk about this is a semesterly activity. We do CQI on the course. Upon completion of the course, you evaluate and see how we improve. And the slow loop for the program level and program objective, in which you do upon graduation, PLO, and then the program objective we do 3 to 5 years after the student already graduated and working in the industry. So that is what we call, usually we call it a slow loop CQI. The fast loop is every semester we do for our course. Okay. So far, okay, right? Okay, nothing new so far, right? Okay. All right. So that is basically an overview or what we call that on OBE. Okay, just a recap. Now, OBE principle, this is from the document. So if you read the document, then you can see. I'll just be reading from it, and then maybe explain, or if there is any clarification, maybe you can just raise your hand and ask. Okay. All right, this one also taken from the document. The following principle articulate IIUM approach to OBE and provide a common standard for the design, delivery, assessment, and continuous improvement of academic program, ensuring that the teaching and learning are purposeful, coherent, and demonstrably aligned with the university's mission, Tauhidic epistemology, and the Sejahtera academic framework. Okay, the principles are categorized into all these 6. Okay, if you refer to the document, we categorize into this, and we'll just go through each and every one of them. All right. Okay, curriculum design and alignment. All courses in the program are designed to support the attainment of the PLO, program learning outcome, which cover knowledge, skill, values, and attitude. This is, I think, aligned. Okay, no problem with that. So when we design, we mentioned that all courses in the program are designed to support the attainment of PLO. In a way to say, if that particular course is not helping in achieving the PLO, I think we can consider taking it out lah, kan? Or if there are redundant or something like that. Okay, but there are cases that university require courses and all those things there. But we have remember when we design, we have the IIUM mission and vision as well, which must be taken into account when we design. Okay, so there could be something that maybe you have to have another PLO specific, not just generic from MQA document. All right. Course deliverables must be designed to enable students to achieve their intended course learning outcome. Okay. With clear constructive alignment. Remember constructive alignment between learning and teaching activities, assessment, and outcome. I think this statement is also quite clear, right? Okay. Right. Evidence of this constructive alignment must be documented in course file and submitted upon completion of the course. That one is very important, evidence. After this, and starting next year, then MQA panel, once they even, I think our KCA, when we assess maintenance audit, then they will need to see also the evidence. Okay, I think last time evidence are not so much stressed upon by MQA, but starting next year, August, then you have to show whether all the claim that you do then, or that you have done in the document, that you have to show the evidence. Okay. All right, we are okay with this so far? PLO mapping and progression for MQF level 6 and below, each PLO should be mapped across multiple courses to demonstrate progression from introduction to mastery. Okay. Each PLO should be mapped across. I think this is what mentioned by Prof. Faris last time. Tick, tick. Okay. But there must be a proper ticking then. Okay. All right. We used to, in the beginning, we used to tick a lot. We like to tick, right? Then we realized that the more you tick, the more responsibility you have. Okay. So now everybody is avoiding ticking. You want to, you don't want your course to be tick to so many, right? But generally, there are some guidelines. Okay, different kuliah also you can come up with your own guideline. But generally, most courses you should not be more than 3.4 or something like that. Except there are some, especially on culminating, then you need to be taking care of a lot of what we call that PLOs. But depends on kuliah. We don't want to. I think the framework we don't want to really restrict on the detail. So we want the kuliah to take that what we call that. Empower the kuliah to look into it. Okay. MQF level 7 and above, which is master PhD. Okay, mapping extend to courses and research activities, because you don't have so many courses, especially in the postgraduate studies. So even research, then you can look into all these elements in the PLO. Okay, a course may be mapped to multiple PLOs. That's what we have been doing also, I believe. By graduation, student must demonstrate attainment of all PLO. That is very important. You have to show the evidence that students have already demonstrated. Okay, so we need to evaluate the PLO. PLO attainment need to be evaluated. Okay. All right, so far okay, yeah? PLO measurement, enabling and culminating courses. So that was why, since we have to show evidence whether the student have achieved or not, then the committee, of course, even before that, then it was brought, I think KCA has brought paper long time ago that has been endorsed in the Senate on the enabling and culminating. So we are just following that. And so enabling and culminating, we believe that this will be the easiest, not so, what we call that, tedious, and more meaningful, because basically the concept of outcome, meaning that upon graduation, they should be able to demonstrate that ability rather than evaluating or even taking into account the early years in your evaluation. Okay. So core courses are categorized as either, okay, core courses are categorized as either enabling or culminating. Other courses are categorized as enabling. That is very important also. Okay, core courses, when we develop our program, then you categorize into electives, core, kuliah core, department core, or whatever. Okay, there are some categories depending on your program. So the culminating should come from the core. Okay, core, well, the enabling can come from core and other courses, okay, other categories. All right, are we okay with that? Enabling courses nurture and develop student competency progressively. We defined already, we mentioned earlier. They are designed for students to progress towards PLOs as they advance in their studies and are generally taken in the beginning of the program. That one is just, I think, reiterated from earlier. Okay, we are okay with that. Culminating courses provide direct evidence of student attainment of relevant PLOs. Okay, they require students to demonstrate achievement of relevant PLOs and are generally taken at the end of the program. So provide direct evidence, meaning that there must be a clear assessment to show that they have already achieved on that particular PLO. If you assign that particular course as a culminating for PLO 3, for example, whatever that PLO, there must be a clear evidence to show that you assess and they have already achieved. Okay? Are we okay with that? All right. Okay, good. Culminating courses may also include research activity in postgraduate program. Okay, we have no choice because usually that is the ultimate. When you do master's, PhD, research part is very important element. Okay, so they should be assessed at that point. Each PLO must be assessed in at least one culminating course to provide direct evidence of attainment. So how many courses need to be culminating for a particular PLO? At least one. So depending on your kuliah. Okay. If somehow one kuliah would like to have more than one, it's okay. But meaning that there are two courses, for example, if you decide to have two courses, then these two courses must have a clear evidence. They must have a specific assessment to show the achievement. Okay. I think engineering, we have two, right? Okay. Because we had problem with our assessor. They say if this, you assess one, if the student fail and it is already in the final semester, so how do you show that the student achieved? Well, we try to argue in terms of this, what call that, assessment is more for the program improvement rather than individual student. But then, yeah, panel then, not much you can say then, right? Okay, well, we decided to have two to show that there are some backup just in case. But it depends on the kuliah. The statement here is at least one, okay? Because depends, some assessor in other program, they may not be that strict. All right. Okay, CQI, PLO attainment analysis is used to identify strengths and weaknesses in the curriculum for the purpose of CQI. Okay, that is the purpose of PLO attainment analysis. PLO measurement is culminating courses is for program level evaluation. That one is very important, not as a condition for individual graduation. We want to highlight that in our university statement because this can be helping the kuliah in case the panel would like to really emphasize on individual assessment. Then this is our university policy or university framework basically. Okay, it is not for individual. If the student failed that PLO, that particular student should not be penalized, or we have to do something on that particular student. Okay, just because of that failure of PLO achievement. Okay, are we okay with that? However, okay, Part C there, if more than 30% of a cohort fail to attain any particular PLO, then something must be wrong somewhere. If only few students, 2-3 students in one particular cohort, there could be some assessment issues, variation of assessment. But if a big number, then there must be something wrong that we ask the kuliah to look into it. Program owner must implement remedial action. Look into it, what is the issue? If there is any lacking part that would jeopardize the quality of our graduate, then there must be some action to be taken. Okay, so I think 30% there is discussion on whatever the percentage, but I think Senate already approved 30%. All right. Okay. If kuliah would like to increase or decrease lah. Yeah. They cannot increase to 40, but if it is less than that, maybe they can bring to Senate lah kot. Right. Okay. Any comment on that? Okay, no problem. At a minimum, CQI processes should be conducted at least at 3 levels. At course level, at the program level and educational objective, as shown already. I think everybody is aware. At the end of a semester, then each course they need to evaluate. They have to look into how to continuously improve. And then program level upon graduation and educational objectives 3 to 5 years after graduation, and where we expect our graduate working in the industry, relevant industry. Okay, upon completion of each course, a course assessment report, we call it CAR. Okay, CAR should be prepared. Course assessment report. Okay, for each course. Okay, CAR should at least consist of student performance analysis and suggestion for improvement. Okay, at least what is the student performance for that particular semester, and then what is the suggestion for future improvement. Okay, you can individual kuliah can add other element, maybe their observation, what is the issue or whatever. But at least these two elements must be there. Okay. Upon completion of studies of each cohort, program assessment report, PAR, should be prepared. PAR should at least consist of PLO attainment analysis and also suggestion for improvement. These are the minimum required. Okay. All right, because we need CQI, so there must be a suggestion for improvement in which we can close the loop. You know the term close the loop, right? Closing the loop. Have you heard about closing the loop? No. What is the loop? Okay. You have issue how you take in what we call that, how you yeah, each lecturer. Car should be usually by each individual lecturer, because you know what is going on throughout the semester. Then you can suggest for improvement. Maybe you observe for that particular semester, there are many students are facing difficulty on certain subject or certain topics. Maybe in your suggestion, maybe, yeah, I will spend more time, or the lecturer should spend more time on that particular topic or emphasize or something like that. Okay, the one is for that particular course, you're focusing on that course, how we can improve so that the future student taking that course will learn more or will have achieved the outcome better, right? That is the idea. Okay, so closing the loop is if there is any issue, apa kita semua closing. Yeah, but the concept of closing the loop, meaning that if there is an issue, you must look into it until whether you take action, whether there is an action to, action must be there. You have to look into, you have to discuss whether there are some changes. It depends on your decision, meaning that if there is any issue, it need to be discussed and decided. Okay, then you close the loop. Okay. All right, you don't just, okay, there is an issue, then you just look into and then decide, stop there without any decision on that. Yeah, the cycle of the process. PDCA, there is a typical what we call PDCA, plan, do, check, and action, right? Okay, all right. So those are typical, but that not only academic, it involves all what we call that, all activities. Okay, all right. Are we okay with this? After 3 to 5 years of graduation for selected cohort, a program educational objective assessment report, we call it PAIR, should be prepared. Okay, all right. Otherwise, it will be PL. If you want to take that O, okay, simplify that, we call it PAIR. Okay, PAIR should at least consist of PEO analysis and suggestion for program improvement. PO analysis, usually we can take through survey. You analyze your alumni. They are no longer our student. They already graduated in the industry. So how you get to them, then of course there will be usually some challenges. But they are already your alumni. So how you get that data based on your, how to evaluate your PEO. All right. Performance criteria for CAR, PAR, and PAIR are within the purview of the program owners. How you set the performance criteria, how many percentage that is considered as good or fail or need to be acceptable or not acceptable, that one we leave it to the kuliah to decide. Okay. All right. Are we okay with this so far? Yes. Mm-hmm. SFS is feedback from student to the lecturer. Um, well, this one is at the eye, in the eye of the lecturer, how you would plan to improve for future. But I think the lecturer should also look into SFS, how the student perceive or see you. Maybe there are some good feedback that they provide for you to improve. That can be considered, but you can put that in the CAR report. Okay, based on the feedback, then yeah, I need to, well, that one is more individual rather than course. But maybe if they suggest on a certain topic that need to be covered in the course, then you can put that. Okay, it's more on how you evaluate the handling of that particular course in the semester. Okay, how you can improve in the future. All right. Any more? Yes. Okay, good. Survey, right, from the alumni. Dia kena tanya statistik ni. Ah, well, um, generally, I think 20 plus is a good number, Gary. Okay. Okay. Hmm. If you have only 20 graduate in that cohort, of course, you don't expect to get 100% also feedback kan. So, yeah, I think the number is quite subjective. Quite subjective. But if you have only one, two, I think the number is not very meaningful lah. Kan? All right. Okay. And you don't have to do every year. 3 to 5 years, maybe you can select maybe one cohort after 3 years, or you do pair, not every year. Okay. And especially, I mean, this evaluation is for, when we do pair, it's more for program improvement. And you do curriculum review 3 to 5 years. So make sure you have that information before you do curriculum review. Okay. Okay, any more questions? Yes. Measure PAR. Based on the PLO assessment, we do individual culminating courses. The culminating courses, we have evaluation. So from that, then we can see how culminating courses, yeah. Using this concept, enabling culminating, you evaluate the culminating, whether the student achieve. There could be some student that do not achieve, so you can set the criteria. 70% of the student achieve a certain value or something like that. That would give you a good number or something. Okay, I think the detail will do. Yeah, Prof. Teddy will also, I think you will highlight today. Prof. Teddy will highlight after this then. Okay. Again? Possible. But there could be something more specific in your PEO that is not available in the tracer study. So you may have to approach them to get that particular, what we call that, topic or a questionnaire lah. Yeah, depends. If everything is available in the tracer study, okay. All right. Recognition of non-credited learning in line with the Sejahtera Academic Framework. Student achievement and involvement in non-credited activities may be recognized as enabling activities that contribute towards PLO attainment, provided proper assessment and evidence are documented. So we want to provide this opportunity, but it is not culminating because it's very difficult to assess also. Okay, especially this non-credited. But we want to allow, because based on Sejahtera Academic Framework, remember, everything, all the experience that students have on campus basically are supposed to help them in achieving, will be affecting their character upon graduation. So we should be providing this avenue to help the student achieving their outcomes. Well, in terms of if you want to claim as what we call that, enabling for that particular PLO, then there must be some evidence that need to be there, need to be ready. Otherwise, then generally we just take it as is. Okay, we just want to provide this avenue. All right, governance and compliance. All program owners shall comply with this framework and implement OBE in their respective program. This is a very important statement. Okay, so we are talking to program owners today. Okay, so you have to really understand and also plan for the, I think the next session that will mention about what needs to be done, the next 2 sessions. Okay, so take note of that. COS, Center of Studies are required to submit PAS to Senate at the end of academic calendar for the graduating cohort. Okay, this is annual activities now. All right. Okay. PAR, because we have graduates every year. Okay. Each cohort will come in after 4 years. For undergraduate, they will graduate. So every year then, there must be a PAR report submitted to Senate. As mentioned by Prof. Faris also, so far there is no clear in detail analysis. So, well, it's not that detailed, but if you have a template, okay, we do have OBEMs, OBE management system, but we don't want to strictly emphasize everybody to use it. Okay, some kuliah may plan to have their own or something, but we do have our system. okay, which has been used by Kuliah of Engineering for many years. So that can be a good example in which you can have a look. Okay. KCA is responsible for ensuring proper OBE implementation in IIUM. Okay. All the best. Okay. All right. Notwithstanding the provision under this framework, the Senate reserve the right to make final decision. Of course, the one is a liability clause. Okay. All right. Okay, we are okay. Those are the principles basically. Okay. General guideline in our OBE implementation at the university. Okay. Of course, that one is we just set the general guideline in which you can go. Each kuliah are allowed to work within that limit. Okay. I think that one is quite reasonable. We are not restricting so much then. Okay. All right. So IIM OBE framework. This is the framework that we have proposed to Senate and endorsed. Okay. Since we have that culminating, so you can see culminating and enabling courses there. Looking into this framework, I can categorize, or there are 4 elements that I can put here. The first one is the learner's pathway. You can see the learners will be coming from this undergraduate and postgraduate student, going through all this experience, the courses, taking courses, graduate, and then of course 3 to 5 years, basically they are already somebody in the industry. Okay. Okay. All right. Another one is curriculum deliveries. Basically, the one in the box, the shaded there is the curriculum, program curriculum. You come up with the curriculum, all the detail, what are the program educational objective, PLOs, and etc. All the courses categorized already into culminating and enabling, and etc. Okay. So basically, that is the program curriculum and also the activities that you do. All right. And then we have also program monitoring, the CQI. You can see the closed loop, the fast loop, the fast loop and the slow loop. The fast loop is here for each enabling and culminating after the learning and teaching activities. Then you should go for assessment or evaluation. Okay. And then you have also the slow loop for program assessment, right? Upon graduation, completing all the curriculum. Upon graduation, then we can assess their PAR. The one is PAR. Okay. And then they go to industry 3 to 5 years upon after graduation, then we can assess their PAIR. Okay. Educational objectives. That is program monitoring. And the last one is program design and review. Program design, whenever you design a new program, okay, these are the elements that need to be taken care. Of course, when we first design, you don't have this PAR and PAIR. Okay, those information will not be fed into your decision making, but you have this falsafah pendidikan kebangsaan, MQA, IIM vision and mission. If you have professional body, also need to be taken into account. And then your kuliah mission and vision, and you have external stakeholders as well. Okay, external stakeholders, any relevant industries, and etc. Okay, there are many external stakeholders. And if you do review, then you need to take into account the PAR and PAIR as well for improvement. Okay. So basically, these are the 4 elements that you can look into this from this framework. Okay. I think that's all. Yeah. Oh, okay. Number 1. Okay. All right. Clear. Okay. That is my presentation basically.
Sunny, there are questions online.
Okay.
So we can address that.
Which one? Since this OBE framework must be in place before 1st of August, how about program that currently undergo program review? Do the program need to do all the PK? Ini kena tanya KCA. Ha?
For the this question, basically whether the program owner need to do all, the short answer is yes, you have to do all. But then I think we can allow for some flexibilities during this transition period. But obviously for car and PAR, that one have to be done lah. For pair, perhaps we can allow for some transition for programs that are doing their curriculum review at the moment. But afterwards, we will basically enforce this.
Okay, I hope that answer. Otherwise, then after this, you can go and talk to KCA lah. Tengok macam mana. Okay, alright. Ada lagi? Is there any template prepared for car, park and pair that we need to follow? As I mentioned, we have OBEMs. OBEMs can do all the three, right? Betul. Only car, park. Okay, the expert of OBEMs is here actually, Dr. Dr. Fadila. Okay, OBEMs can produce immediately, automatically produce car. Okay, both enabling and culminating. Okay, but we can take information from there and small process for PAR. For pair, pair I think it's not that difficult. You just do the survey and then evaluate from there. I think that one is quite straightforward. PAR and car is a bit complex because you have to extract the student performance, especially car. These OBEMs extract the student, what we call that, grading from system, automatically taking. So all you need to do is just to look into the performance and then give your suggestion for improvement. Okay, so it is a very, very easy. Even though, of course, still there are many room for improvement lah for OBEMs. Okay. Of course, yang online car who should prepare. Okay, yeah. Car, as I think the question also raised before, need to be prepared by the lecturer. Even if there are multiple section, usually of engineering, individual lecturer as well, right? Individual lecturer teaching their section can put suggestion, but different kuliah may have different, you can come up with different approach. Maybe if you have multiple section, the coordinator to submit or to discuss with all the members and then come up with only one, also I think to be okay. All right, that one is the responsibility of individual lecturer here. Betul. So far, OBEMs is only accessible to kuliah of engineering. Okay. Now I think with this IIUM OBE framework, then it will be upgraded to the kuliah level. The responsibility will be to KCA lah kot. Currently, the responsibility is at kuliah of engineering to maintain and to push ITD also. Okay. So we hope with that, then at the university level, then it will be improved further. Okay, reliability and all those issues. Okay, any yes, Prof? On? Not at this level go. Ini familiarization je on the principle, on the framework. Well, but as mentioned then, Prof tadi akan tunjuk ada. Okay. But I think as mentioned, CPD and KCA and IMET also will be going around. They are ready to go to all kuliah to give more detail, and in that case, then it will go to, I think it should go down to all lecturers level lah. Okay. So here now we want to just make sure everybody at the kuliah, the management at the kuliah are aware and share the same understanding. Okay. Any more? Ada berapa lama? Okay, maybe one or two more question kalau ada. No. Clear? Okay. All right. So I think that's all. Okay. Thank you very much, everyone. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam. Thank you very much, Dr. Sani. Now, the OBE task force knows that a few of the kulias have already implemented this KAPA and pair. Yeah. In the task force itself, some of the kulia reps actually showed that they are already on board. So for a lot of you, it's nothing new. It is something that we have to revisit, but making it into a culture like Dr. Irwan said. So a little bit of learning and unlearning and relearning, will take place. Hopefully, it's going to be well absorbed and practiced, especially for the deans. Yeah. One day we're no longer going to be deans. We're going to be lecturers. So we cannot escape from knowing all this. All right. Thank you very much, Dr. Sunny, for reminding us on the PLOs and CLOs. Okay. For the questions online, we will address it soon after this. Okay. And to not wait any further, let's go on to the third session. This is where you can observe the practical side of OBE implementation, as in documentation. Please welcome Prof. Dr. Teddy Surya Gunawan. Welcome, Prof.
Oh, someone flight, sorry. Okay, bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin, nahmaduhu wa nasta'inuhu wa nastaghfiruh, na'udzubillahi min shururi anfusina wa min sayyiati a'malina, may yahdihillahu fala mudilla lahu, may yudlil fala hadiya lahu, asyhadu an la ilaha illallah wa asyhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluhu la nabiyya ba'dah. My next session is on the implementation of IIUM OBE framework. We have familiar phrases here from College of Engineering. So Dr. Dila, so inshallah, so we can I don't put mic here. I close mic. Speaker saja. Okay, so you can see from here, we have a mountain here. So this is representing a culminating. So when you want to evaluate the student at the end of graduation, we evaluate not at the here, this will be enabling, but in here. So if you want to measure whether the person can swim or not, we don't evaluate at the beginning, but at the end, toward the end. So that's the principle of culminating that we adopted. Okay, so yeah, so this the session objective. This Dr. Sani have explained about this one. So we are adopting the culminating enabling course, and this is the action points for Center of Studies. So we have 5 action points. The first one is verify PLO alignment. There was question in the Zoom about the VBE. Okay, so we need to align with MQI 2.0. There is VBE, ESG, harmonization, FLP. We need to align that. Okay, we need to update it because it will be audit pematuhan also maybe next year or following year. But the main thing, I think, as Dr. Iwan said, that we want to implement first OBE. So my target here is at least to have OFI, opportunity for improvement. At least we have the OBE. It's not perfect, but along the way we do CQI, we improve. Okay, so the first 2 is defining the PO. This is the outcome based education. So what we want the student to achieve upon graduations. So we need to identify that. So we can see from program standard, or we can also follow if we don't have it in program standard professional bodies, then we can follow the MQF. We modify from there, see the IM vision and mission, and implement, put that as our PO. Okay. Then the other things here is select accommodating courses. How many? Which one? That one we need, as I mentioned earlier, select first at the end. If you cannot find, maybe at the end, semester 8, for example, semester 7, that will be final year. Final year will be a good candidate to select the accommodating courses. Okay. Then the flow rubrics. Again, this is later on Prof. Ainul for generating rubrics, for measuring the PO achievement, the program outcomes achievement. And then, of course, then we need to have a CQI, okay, the performance indicator and CQI process. Let me put on the section 1, action 1 and action 2. So action 1 is confirm alignment with MQF 2.0 2024. So there is 2017, and then updated again 2024 with the VB and everything. Currently, the EAC is not updated yet, but it will be later, it will be trickle down to the EAC standard, maybe 2026 or afterward. Yeah, then validate again program standard, because at the end of the day, the professional body will accredit like engineering, medical, pharmacy, and so on, and integrate institutional philosophy. If we have, for example, now Tauhidic epistemology, we can integrate as well. And strengthen clarity and structure of PLO statement. This is to have a clear expectation of the student upon graduation. And of course, we need to prepare for Senate endorsement. From this, then we can trickle down. Remember that the designing back the curriculum, we need to define first what the student want to achieve, the outcome. Then we map to the course. Okay, we map to the course. Yeah, similar like here. Yeah. So after you define the PO, then we trickle down to the courses. You map to the courses from year 1 until until the end. Okay. Then we select the accommodating courses from here as well. Okay. Yeah. The action 2 is more on the alignment with the professional bodies, because, for example, in engineering, we don't use the PO, PLO from the MQF. The EAC has its own based on the IEA standard. So they trickle down to the engineering courses. Yeah, so we need also, this is process of curriculum review. We need to also input from industrial partners, stakeholders, alumni, external expert, market, societal and umatic need, and so on. Okay, then we have a clear PO. So as an example, I put here the 4 documents. This is the we must follow the MQF 2.0 2024. Then the next one will be the COPA standard for undergraduate, and engineering has done the OBE for undergraduate, but not yet for PG. So me, Dr. Dila, Dr. Azlin, Prof. Aisha is working on it, how to implement the OBE even on the postgraduate level, on master. Yeah. Yeah, so this is, if you want to, the program outcomes for the, from the MQA, we have 5 learning domains. And if you put here is 11 learning outcomes. Okay. This similar like Dr. Sani IIUM OBE framework, okay, but this from the paper. So we have 7 steps, how to enter VBA. When you identify the VBE, how to integrate it, you need to modify the learning outcome on one particular course. So you need to select which one will implement a VBE. That's for the question on the VBE. Okay, on the standard itself, standard for program undergraduate programs, they have mentioned the PO, which if you don't have, we can modify from this. At least we have something. It is easier to modify from something rather than modify from nothing. So we start from here. And then we have also from bachelor level, we have 11 POs. Okay, so we have 11 PO that map to the learning document. This is the statement. Okay, this is from standard for undergraduate programs. So this is just to jumpstart, as I mentioned earlier, to 2025, we need to 2026, we need to implement. So at least we start from here. We modify. It might not be perfect, but it's okay. So you can do the CQI later on, because every 3 to 5 years we need to evaluate again. Is this PO is okay or not okay? Is there any update from NQF? Is there any update from the market and so on? So we need to again update this PO. Okay. So as you can see, this one will map to this one. Okay, to 5 learning domains of this for bachelor degree. Even for master, they have already the 8. They have 8. If they differentiate between the research, coursework, and mixed mode. Okay, so we can start also to implement the OBE, what you call in the postgraduate level. Yeah. Okay, so this is for So if you have this for engineering, we have the IIUM vision and mission. We align with that. We selected some courses to implement the TE, Tauhid Technology. So this is our outcome. We want to have the graduate that God conscious, ethical, professional engineers. That's the outcomes. We have all the graduate attributes. That will be the outcome. So designing back, then we want to derive the courses that can contribute to the achievement of all the PO. Okay, 11 PO. Okay, action 3, select and validate community courses. In short, you can start from the final year or year 3 or year 3 SEM 6, 6, 7, 8, SEM 6, 7, 8. Okay, you can start from that, identifying the one that you can see for the culminating courses, the moment that you evaluate the PO, okay, the PO achievement. Okay, so then after that, this is the rubrics. Nowadays, you can use ChatGPT to help you to draft, but you need to own it. But then we can have also, we can verify using to Prof. Ainul, IMAT, okay? But at least you start something, the rubrics. I'll show it to you later on, okay? How do we evaluate? And then define PLO performance indicator. So we need to define how many percentage, for example, 70% of the population need to achieve this PO. What happened to the others? That's part of CQI, okay? So see attainment threshold for the, and this is also the threshold is also part of CQI. You can increase it, better to increase it, but if somehow you can also decrease it. Okay, it's based on your CQI process. Okay. 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 Why we do need this one? Prof. Suhaimi said this is to make halal your salary. Actually, we need to do this. It looks a lot, but CQI is part of culture. We have we need to we have the annual semester. We need to do CAR after entering the marking the mark. Then we can go to OBEM, submit it to OBEMs, and then evaluate. Okay, to make our our salary halal, because this is also in the standard. Okay, standard is you must do it whether you like it or not. We need to. This one also, like Prof. Haris mentioned, you must have quality assurance. We have it, AKAL, and so on. And a review should be done 3 to 5 years. So it need to be updated. Okay. So the program owner, HOD, need to have the dashboard when this is due for curriculum review. Okay. And external examiner. Last time the ECE has some problem during the COVID time. We don't do this, and then it's flagged by the examiner. You don't do external examiner, and then we have a condition to for our accreditation. Okay, so that's how serious it is. Okay, linkage with industry is all there in the documentation. We just need to read it. Okay, this is for undergraduate. Okay, the master one will be on the COPA. Okay, and also this is for standard master and doctoral degree. The HAP, higher education provider, is responsible for the active delivery and achievement of the program learning outcome to be read together with 716. Again, this is CQI. Must analyze and review the overall attainment of the program learning outcomes and objective. Okay, so this is the standard. Standard we cannot escape. Program standard maybe, because there is some circular that we can use standard, not program standard, because the program not updated. Okay. Okay, now let's go to the sample of OBE implementations at ECE from kuliah what later on. What you call Dr. Dila can help me later on. Yeah. So we are on engineering for undergraduate, not for PG. PG we still need to liaise with the MQA. So that's why the examiner for PG mentioned why you don't implement OBE. We surprised OBE for PG. Yes, you need to implement also on PG. Okay. Yeah. So as you see here, this is the gadget attribute, this standard, the outcome. And then we have the latest standard will be EAC 2024, EAC Program Accreditation Standard 2024. Okay, so MQF 2.0 2024 include VBE. This one is not yet because maybe on the next revision it will have this one. But we follow engineering, we have this one. This is for, again, for undergraduate. Okay. Okay, so let's see how to modify the wording. We take almost verbatim. Then how do we incorporate the IUM vision and mission? We just modify a bit here. Yeah, same as EAC, but add with Islamic values. Okay, so we just change here, apply ethical principle and commit to professional ethics, professional Islamic ethics. Okay, that's specific for IUM. So you, as I mentioned earlier, you can start small, okay, and then we do CQI process later on. But at least the PO is similar. So we are the Washington Accord signatories. So whether you are going to US, UK, Australia, it has the same program outcomes, 11 program outcomes, okay. But this is the specific for IUM, okay. Okay, and this is how we select the BE for ECE curriculum 2024. This is just the curriculum review. As you can see here, Dr. Sani mentioned that we have at least 2, but sometimes we have 3. You can again, you can start small. You can start with 1 to get the feel on it. And if the examiner later on asks what happened if one in fail in here, you don't have the backup, then you say that we will select another courses later on. Okay, but you can start small. Okay, you can start identifying the one courses, see the how you implement, find the rubrics, do assessment and so on. I will give you the example. So between the 2, then we take the median. Yeah, Dr. Dila said we need to take the median between these 3. So if the one in here they achieve excellence, this one is good, this one is marginal, I will take the good, the median one. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so this is the example. This is proposal that I prepare, my team prepare on 2017. We start small, so to assess program outcomes, so we are using the culminating courses and enabling courses in 2017. We prepare this proposal. Okay. And then it's not enough, then how do we measure it? Then we again another proposal. As you can see here, this one only 1-to-1 mapping. Only at the earliest stage we measure only 1 PO. Okay, for each courses. That's what you call for the starting point. Then we have also from here the rubric. Okay. Yeah, so we have the proposal. We have the culminating courses, and this is the table of culminating courses. We have 6, selected 6, okay? Many on FYP, IDP, and entrepreneurship. So as you can see from here, the 5-1 will be our hard skill, and the 7 to 12 will be our soft skill in engineering, okay? Yeah, so this is the example. We got it from University of Toronto, if I'm not mistaken. So the assessment will be on assignment, project, case studies, presentation, and reports. Okay, mainly on the report. Then, of course, this one we can improve later on. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so let's move on. Yeah. So this is the example. How do I measure? So fortunately or unfortunately, my course has been selected as one of the culminating courses. So I need to experience firsthand how to implement the community. So normally we deal with not on the final exam, not on the quiz, but on the assignment. So they have some time to do their assignment. So we have, for example, here question 1, 2, 3, and then this is the rubric. I put the rubric at the assignment at the end of assignment, so the student know also the indicator. What means by unacceptable? What does it mean by marginal acceptable? And then after that, what I do, I put on the Turnitin. Then this is the indicator number 1, for example, question number 1. So what are the student achievement? Okay, so I need to check one by one and question by question. Okay, and the end I have the mark here. Okay, so then we can count here for the population what? How many students are exemplary? How many acceptable? How many marginal? How many unacceptable? Okay, you can define 5 criteria. You can define 4 criteria. We start small again. This is also part of the CQI. Okay, you can increase in the master level. I think we agree to have 5. Okay, but on the undergraduate level we put 4 criteria. This is sample of cost assessment report. Okay, so we have the mapping. This is taken from ECure. So the ECure go to the OBEMs. Okay, and then the map we cannot change here. This is pulled from the ECure. Okay, then you can see this is the similar what we have here from previously. So you have here poor, satisfactory, good, excellence. Okay, and then you have from ANR database. Also you include this one. Yeah, the how many A, B, C, and so on, and the KPIs achieved for all PO for this course. So you measure the PO how many are good and above. You add all. Okay. So then you have another one, observation of PO attainment. You write something here, observation of LO attainment, and CQI action by lecturer. Again, you need to close it. We close it later on in the PAR report. So all this one will be pulled. Okay, and then we evaluate and then we generate the PAR report. Okay. Yeah, so you can see here, this is for CAR. For enabling it a bit easier. Okay, so you just need to yeah, so there are 90 students because only 10 students. There are 90 students achieve grade C and above. This also can be part of your KPI. We put it 70% C and above, 70% what you call pass the course. Okay, so the LOPO mapping is from the ECure. Yeah, so then you have the observation of LO attainment. So you measure the LO. Okay, and then CQI action by lecturer. And you have the comment by head of the department. You can put it here and signature. Okay, so this is our example of CAR. You can, again, you can start small. At least you have something, you need to write something and then you need to close it. That's the CQI. Okay, you need to discuss it in the department meeting. Yeah. Yeah, this is, for example, the whole part of the PAR report. We just have some 5 students, okay, for new curriculum. Okay, just graduate new curriculum. So if you have 50, then it will be long 50 like this. So you need to evaluate PO. This one get excellence, and PO2 they have excellence as well. Except for this student, we have some 1 and 2 because this small number. Okay. If you have 50 students graduating cohort, you need to evaluate that. Okay. So this for SEM 1, you need also to evaluate for SEM 2. So because we do the PAR for 1 year. Okay. Okay. And for pair, we use alumni survey as Dr. Sandi mentioned. And then we put here the target and what is the achievement. Okay, so we send the alumni survey and we evaluate from that the response whether we achieve or not. So we need to also have PO meeting after 5 years or 3 to 5 years. So similar like curriculum review, whether we need to update or not the PO statement, whether we need to update or not the PO statement. For engineering, it was from 12 PO and then they changed to 11. So we also adapt to become 11 PO. Yeah. Okay. Then we come to OBEMs. Okay. Actually, when we started, I don't want to go detail because I don't want to have the feeling that, oh, we need to wait for OBM first, then we can do OBE. No, please don't do that. Okay, you can use Google App Script, you can use Excel file, you can use manual to do analysis. Just the OBM is just to help you. It's good if we have, but if not, then by hook or crook, we need to implement the OBE by next year. Okay, so but I'll put here. So the OBMs was from the KOE. From KOE budget 2017 and 2018, so almost 10 years. So we need to have also OBM version 2. Okay. Okay, so this is the OBMs. It pulled from ANR database, the one that you have, and previously it also pulled from SFS, but the SFS we evaluate later on, not on the card. Okay. And then we have the main thing will be ECure. So ECure and OBM and database need to work in harmony. Okay, so in order for OBMs to work. Okay, because the POLO mapping will be from ECure. Okay, and we defining the OBMs, the which one is culminating, which one is enabling from the OBMs. Yeah. And then we prepare actually for many things here for complex engineering vetting form, alumni survey, and so on. But mostly we use it for PO attainment. Okay. Yeah. So this is the OBE process. The OBMs need last time we need to set up vetting committees, and then we need to have cost assessment report at the end of week 14. Right after you submit your mark, then we do the cost assessment report. And then, as mentioned, we need to document it. We have a course file. Okay, so we have the course file in Google Drive. The lecturer need to update the assignment, the quiz, the marks, and also the course assessment report. Okay, because later on the panel want to see also how is your final exam question, how is your midterm, and so on. Yeah. So this is if you put in your wise. Every 3 to 5 years will be PO cycle, but every year on SEM 3 normally what we do is the PAR analysis. Okay, so every semester CAR, both for enabling and culminating. Remember that on OBEMs, it saved also the CQI by the lecturer. So the PACA team in engineering will evaluate, will collect, and then we need to put some CQI. And also for multiple section, sometimes one is good, one is bad, so I need to harmonize first. Okay, the coordinator need to harmonize what will be the course of action need to be taken. Okay, this is the example of OBEMs that I screenshot. It's easier. So you have user, audit trails, ECure, connected to ECure, program indicator, rubric assessment. Okay, so we set the criteria. This is the performance criteria setup. This is also part of CQI. I think we have updated this one as well. This is from the old one. Okay, so you can if you want to have 5 criteria, you can update to 5 criteria. If you want 4, you have 4 criteria. Okay, again, this is part of CQI. And then this is the culminating courses. I measure PO1, 2, and 5. Engineering knowledge, problem analysis, and modern tools. So then I set up the rubric. This is the rubrics. Assignment 1. Yeah, assignment 1. What is the learning outcome and what is the performance criteria and what are the rubric statement here. Okay, so you can put that. Okay, so assignment. Then you have another learning outcome, assignment 1, another one, assignment 2, and so on. Yeah. So the rubric assessment, then you can put it here. And you need to for individual student, you need to enter the PO achievement. So this is, you can also copy from why is not? Yeah. So every student need to have to enter this one, the criteria. Okay, 0, 1, 2, 3. In our case, we put 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay, for each student. But don't worry, if you have the Excel, then you can copy paste to the Excel here. And then similar like Apex, okay, for ANR. When you submit your final mark, you can also copy paste, okay? Okay, so then you have the outcomes or evaluations, okay? Yeah, so the other things is for car enabling report, car accommodating report, and PO achievement report, batch and individuals, and PO assessment report. Okay, so as I mentioned earlier, we targeted for not a concern, but OFI means that it's not perfect. But alhamdulillah, with the culminating courses and with the what we did, car per pair, okay, consistently every semester, we can achieve the what you call the accreditations. Okay, 6 years accreditation. Yeah. Okay, the last one, the action point. Just to remind you the action point that we need to do it by June. Of course, later on KCA, CPD, and IMED will help each kuliah, each program. So the first one will be verify PLO alignment with the MQF. Second one, alignment PLO with program standard or professional bodies. Okay. The third one, select culminating courses. Don't worry if it is not perfect, but at least if you have 11 PO, then you spread out, okay, how many culminating courses that you will evaluate the PO. And then from there, you develop a rubric, okay, to evaluate the PO. And then you define the performance indicator and CQR process. Okay. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much.
Prof. Tadi, we have questions in online and probably from the audience here.
What is the question? Yeah. For PO, it should be individual. Okay, so cannot be the group work. Okay, for PO it should be individual. Yeah. Assalamualaikum. Yeah. Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
Engineering is already come up with the and make this university like
Hmm.
so we have to thinking on that extremely great for that can be available and for all of for people coming to us for because everybody got the daddy according to process and if you want to actually work through that slide, then they on it or well. That's what we say. So, I don't think well can be about this issue.
Yeah, that one will be Dr. Irwan to answer. But I think what I mentioned here, we have experienced also last time the OBEM is not ready, so we need to come out with the manual recording as well. Okay, but this does not stop us to do the OBE. Okay, so what I mentioned here, of course, it will be very good if we can implement OBEMs to kuliah wide, and we need to have some time also to because even in engineering, we need to open, close it for particular semester. Okay, because there is some issue on stability, on the wrong calculation and so on. Okay, so need some debugging after 10 years. Yeah, we need some debugging on the OBM version 2 maybe. But as I mentioned, start small. Maybe from KICT can generate some Google app also that they are familiar. It's very fast to collect all the PO. That's the temporary measure, but by hook or crook, even for master, we cannot use OBEM for master in engineering. So what we do, we use Excel file later on just to track the student performance. Yeah, and if you have Excel file, later on we can put the OBMs. Okay, like I mentioned earlier, so we put similar like in Excel file, how do you measure and so on, and then we can copy paste from that Excel to the OBMs. So if you have structure in place, you can also copy in OBMs later on. But again, please do not wait. Okay, so we get the feel first because there are many things later on. We have some challenge. Dr. Irwan, you want to say something?
Okay, thank you very much, Prof. Majda, for that question. I think for the program to be ready and whatsoever, just to share with you, for OBEMs, it require a proper complete documentation of your program, including all your course outlay. So that's actually the prerequisite for any data to be used because OBEMs really depend on the data. So as program owner, you have to basically input all your information in the ECure before OBEMs can actually be used. So that's why basically when the framework was presented in the Senate, we did not enforce a specific way or approach for all program owners. We would like to rather leave it open because we want to appreciate, just to share, I think if we have colleagues from say OBE management system and some I think some Kula have also decided to simply use Excel file and do it manually. And also when we get feedback from other our colleagues from other universities, some of them also simply mention because this is just simply documentation, sometimes a simple Excel file would already be sufficient because it saves the hustle of tedious data input and other things. But we'll try to actually improve for the OBE. Engineering has been using it because they put all their data in eCure. So if you realize that this semester we also already have one enhancement where any new course offering, you have to actually update your data in eCure. So in the long term, basically, we will basically use eCure as the main governance system for our academic programs.
Thank you. I hope that satisfied. Yeah, we can start small and then we can improve later on. Yeah, inshallah. That's from the engineering own experience. Because when the panel come, where is the OBEMs? Not yet ready. Where is the OBEM? Not yet ready. 2 years we were waiting, but so we need to do it manually. Yeah. Yeah, but hopefully by this what you call the needs of all kuliah, hopefully we can also create the OBEM for university wide, inshallah. Yeah. Any other question, or we are ready to implement the OBE? There's no question, maybe.
No more online. Counting. 1, twice. No questions. Okay, thank you, Prof. Teddy, for the overview of OBEMs and its relationship with eCure, hence eCure adoption, usage adoption. Very urgent, but they're not meant to intimidate us because I think this is the essence of OBE, guys. It's closing the loop. Otherwise, kita sangka-sangka, we're just assuming that students have attained without evidence. And engineering has been doing this because of your accreditation needs. And similarly, for SWA, for us to retain the SWA status, they will look out for this evidence. Pa, apa tadi? Ka, pa, pe, yeah? Yes. Pandai, okay. Yes, you've learned something today. All right. So these tools actually help us to make the invisible learning. Some people, when we go around, they say, "Oh, it's already there. It's already in my head." but we need to make the evidence visible, and that's the most important thing about OBE. Okay, so moving forward, we're going to invite Prof. Dr. Mira Kartiwi, Director of CPD, to deliver the some amanat and also a little bit of closing remarks. Please welcome.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillahirrabbilalamin. Alhamdulillahilladzi hadana li hadza wa ma kunna linahtadiya laula an hadanallah. Asyhadu an la ilaha illallah wa asyhadu anna Muhammad abduhu rasuluh. Alhamdulillah. So thank you so much, professors, doctors, brothers and sisters. Usually at home, after an engineer talk, the IT will have to come and simplify. So seems it's the same thing happening in here. After engineer talk, the IT will come and simplify. All right, so hopefully I can simplify enough because even me, I'm still digesting as well. Okay, let me just share the screen. Okay. Right, so let me just move to the screen that I'm about to share. Because I have to come up with ways to simplify and also making sure that what has been shared is not going to a thin air, because usually it's easy to get inspired, but it's hard to sustain inspiration. So in this case, we want to make sure it is doable before you can say to your team, it is doable, okay? Right, so what's next? What's next? The first one is we have actually the team, just want to acknowledge because I feel so humbled and so honored to work with two very passionate person from CPD and KCA, Dr. Afiza and Dr. Arbaya, which is every day. You'll be surprised how many messages they send in the group. So if you think we haven't bombarded you with message, I have gone through that. Dr. Iwan has gone through that. So we know how much work they have put into today. And I'm really honored. Thank you so much, Dr. Arbaya and Dr. Afiza. I really, really appreciate it for all the hard work that you make to come up with the checklist, to come up with the tentative, to come up with who should be invited, the content and everything. So they have actually shared the checklist for everyone information. The checklist is in your calendar. Yeah, the checklist is in your calendar. Everyone should have the checklist with you. And inside this checklist, basically there are a couple of items that kuliah should be able to do to muhasabah, okay? To muhasabah, what have you been doing and how you can move forward with all these OBE initiatives. And with this, basically, if I can, before I move to that detail, let me just highlight. So basically, if possible, identify is there anyone in the kuliah that is familiar with OBE. Sometimes the gems will not blink, will not shine. So in this case, identify anyone that is familiar with OBE, but they are actually hesitate to highlight that they know about it. Why? Because throughout my visit to a couple of kuliah, when I give or when I share about this OBE, some said, yes, I actually know that. Yes, I actually read that. Yes, I actually have seen that. So they know, but they worried if they share, there's a connotations. Jangan tunjuk pandai, nanti banyak kerja. Is that right? So, which is, I think now we have to debunk those kind of perceptions. Tunjuk pandai, because we will work together. Okay, we will not leave them alone. So in this case, please provide, if possible, one of the checklists that we require to have some input from you. Do you have any expert OBE in the kuliah? Because that will be your support system on top of CPD, KCA, and IMAT. Okay, so this is not just we will leave you alone. Empowerment need to be hand holding sometimes. So in this case, we will come to your kuliah. We will bother you. You are not going to bother us. We will bother you. Don't worry. But on the same time, it's really nice to have that kind of expert in house. Just to share with you, I met one of the MQA consultant, and he said, I usually go to the faculty. What is interesting, because in most of university, they have curriculum development office, that they go to the kuliah, that they go to the faculty. So during the discussions in the faculty, usually it is a very heated discussion that I have seen academics bring the chairs up and almost hit another academics to that level of how important the process is, and how the challenge, not like being the challenge of, because sometimes when you do the CQ and all those kind of things, you will be scrutinized, right? Your course will be scrutinized. So there will be sometimes that people feel offended. Why do you criticize my course? Why do you criticize how I teach? Why do you criticize how I conduct this? Especially if the decision is, we have to drop the course because it's no longer relevant. Oh, harga diri. Some people feel it as it's the end of me. So I have the only way to communicate is bring the chair up and then hit whoever talk. So that's what we don't want. That's what we don't want. And that's why MQA come up with the standard of program. If it doesn't come from your program, let me tell at national level that course needs to be out. And that's the message that they are trying to convey through the standard of the program. Okay. And also, I mentioned to Professor Jaime, because I met him quite a lot for one of the project at national level. And he said, I think we have been, and I have heard this from one of the professor. Why do we have to do this, Prof? I've been teaching in this university for 30 years. And most of my graduates now have become somebody. Why do I have to do this? Professor Jaime said, don't blame me, and please don't throw the chair on me, because first it's stick to the ground. Second, it's from Professor Jaime. Don't shoot the messenger. He said, when you teach in the first career and now they become somebody, those people doesn't have many competitors, a lot of jobs, a lot of positions, a lot of ways to get there. Think what our students in the next 5 years will have to face. Limited jobs, limited positions. They have to compete not only with human, but also with machines. If the mindset is still 30 years ago, is it fair for the students who will face tomorrow, and yet you will not be there tomorrow, possibly? So that's, yeah, Professor Jaime ya, bukan Mira. Okay. So in this case, when we look at the PO, PLO, CLO alignment, that's what we have to think, what our students need to go through in the next 5 years. You don't design for today, you design for the next 5 years. You don't design the course for today, you design the course for the next 5 years. So if you feel challenged because of the course may not be relevant, then come up with the improvement of the course. It may not be totally irrelevant, it's just that some of the content may need to be improved. It may not be the entire course altogether. It might be some topics needs to be improved. So those are the things that we want to highlight through this checklist. And this checklist will go top down and bottom up. Top down, the kuliah have to assist in terms of PLOs, PEOs, and whatnot, alignment with MQF. And I heard this a lot. Apalah MQF ini, apalah university ini, sekejap BBE, sekejap OBE. Actually, those are not conflicting. For your information, OBE is the framework for all program. It's the mindset that the program needs to design meeting the outcome. VBE is a value-based education. We are nurturing things that we want to instill into the program. So it's not conflicting, but it requires strategy. So in this case, we want to make sure those are embedded to your course, to your program. That's all the courses needs to have VBE. Later on, during the roadshow to the kuliah, we will give you some kind of hint. Actually, MK has done a lot of, and the expert is one of the expert actually from IIUM, Dr. Suhaila is one of the person that wrote the VBE. So we can also invite a person from KOED that actually part of that initiative. So in this case, no, it's not complicated. Don't worry. We are not going to turn around the program just to instill those VBE, ESD. ESD maybe, but it's not that frightening, inshallah. And another one that I would want to highlight last is on the assessment and development of rubrics. Thank you so much, Prof. Ainul. I learned a lot from her. She has guided us on what are the things that we have to prioritize. MashaAllah, Prof. Ainul have given some hint. Okay, so at least start with preparing general rubrics for accumulating course. You don't have to go with all the courses. What happens if we start with all the courses? I'm very sure that throwing chairs will happen. But if you get these 8 people, the 8 people that you can talk nicely, cobalah kita build rubric sama-sama, Cum. I mean, like those kind of message, and then maybe offer coffee, and put something in the, don't put mandaram in the coffee, haram. So, all those kind of engagement, they'll be nice because you don't have to get everyone on board. Just the 8 culminating, at least 8 culminating course. And the last one, we'll do the CQI. Let me share with you. Boleh minta yang di recording stop sekejap because there's some.
Thank you very much, Prof. Mira, for that really inspiring ending. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope the session has sort of given you some idea what's in store from now until August. So there is Dr. Arbaya, there is one more thing that, yeah, so just to highlight. Yeah, go ahead, Prof. Mira.
Ini Dr. Arbaya pemalu nih. Saya pemahat. Okay. So one of the things that we will do soon is clinic. And in the calendar, there is a link where we can start, where your kuliah can start book us. Sounds good, right? You can book us. And we will come to your kuliah. We will assist whoever that you would want us to assist in the kuliah. The link is there. The slot is every once a week, right? Twice a week? Thursday, Friday. Yeah, so Thursday, Friday. Who should you invite to that session? Who you feel important to be there, especially for shift of paradigm and where we don't have to do a lot of debate, where we can just zoom into the operational. That would be nice. Okay, so if you require our assistance, the OBE clinic is there. Me, Dr. Irwan, Dr. Afiza, Dr. Arbaya, Prof. Ainul, Dr. Putri, we will try to assist as much as we can, and we will try to make things easy on your side as well, inshallah. Is that it? Do I miss anything? All good? All right. Okay. Now I can sit down. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Prof. Mira.